Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I've got to say I'm delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Peter Fury. Peter, first and foremost, we're here in Newcastle, but how are you?
I'm good. Good to speak to you. Good to see you again.
Definitely good to see you again as always. Two boxing brains going at it, I love it. Well, we're here in Newcastle for a reason. Your charge, Savannah Marshall, she's up against a very, very, very tough opponent in Femke Hermans. We've seen what she can do. She's never been stopped, although she's lost against very, very top girls, including Claressa Shields. So you've been with Savannah in camp, how's she looking?
Savannah's looking brilliant. There's no excuses with anything. Camp's going very well. She's on weight. You know, everything's gone perfect. She's super strong, ready.
Claressa Shields rocked up today at the weigh-in, and as human beings, it's hard. We do take our eye off the ball sometimes. We do think ahead. We've seen it sometimes with some fighters that look ahead and they fall at the hurdle because they're one fight ahead. How do you control Savannah Marshall, that all this hype between Claressa Shields being here and being ringside, and the last fight when Claressa Shields fought down in Cardiff, they jumped in the ring? How do you keep Savannah level-headed and focus at the task at hand?
Well, I think it's good that Claressa Shields is over here. I think it's a mega fight, so why not build it? I think number one, I think it's good for her to come. I'm appreciative of her coming over here. She'll get the best of welcome, But as far as her and Savannah getting together before the fight, it'd be ridiculous. So let's get the fight out of the way, and I'm sure they can have confrontations or speak or do whatever they want after the fight. But beforehand, no. So Savannah's kept away from Claressa Shields because purposely she's tunnel visioned on Hermans tomorrow.
This fight was offered to Savannah, I believe, on her third professional fight, but you said, no, not yet, let's build it and make it a fight to what it is. Now we're here. Did you see this happening, them two getting on main event, probably 8,000 fans, maybe even bigger? Did you foresee this when you got offered that fight all them years ago?
She's just another fight to me. It's they were scheduled to fight before. You're on about Hermans now?
No, Claressa Shields.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly. Well, tell me the question again.
I said Savannah. Savannah Marshall. You were and Claressa Shields offered Savannah the fight on her third professional fight between Claressa Shields and Savannah, and you said, Savannah, not now. Let's build the fight to what it can be. And now we're here, 3 years down the line, whatever it may be. And did you foresee this fight being as big as what it is?
Yeah, it's always been there, but it didn't really cross my mind. Look, it wouldn't matter who it was. None of my fighters, no matter who it is going to fight on 3 or 4 fights for a big fight because they're not ready. As simple as. If you look at Savannah Marshall now compared to what she was like 3 or 4 fights ago, it's a different person, mentally, physically, and everything else, and on an experience level. So, she's ready, and at times now. And she's ready for any fight or anybody out there.
There's a lot being made about Savannah's punching power. I mean, the graphic that Sky Boxer put up with the 80% knockout ratio, and Claressa Shields not having the many knockouts but having the fast hands and the slick, skillful boxer. Is this that classic boxer versus puncher fight between these two?
Well, if that was the case, then you'd have to edge Claressa Shields because I'm not big on punch power to win fights. That's not what I'm here to do. People with big punches seldomly more than often get outboxed. Savannah is a superb boxer, puncher. That's the difference here. So it's not just a puncher against a boxer. If it was a puncher against an experienced boxer, the boxer's going to win. Make no mistake. Yeah, this is not about that. We've got a serious puncher boxer in Savannah Marshall. That's why she's very, very dangerous.
You've been in big fights, obviously well known with Tyson Fury, and maybe Hughie Fury out in Pulev and Joseph Parker with your son Hughie. Where does this rank, this fight between her and Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall? It's for women's boxing, it's up there with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Listen, they're smaller weights, so I look at this fight as a bigger fight than them. I'm not taking anything away from them, but we got Claressa Shields, who's a double Olympian, massive credentials, and she talks well, and fair, that's appreciate what Claressa Shields has done. She's wiped the floor with everything. Nobody's come close either. She's beat everybody wide. So we've got a superb, phenomenal boxer in Claressa Shields. And it's middleweight. They're not lighter weights. The heavyweights that take precedence over the lightweights. It's always the same thing. I think this is the biggest fight in women's boxing. And I think it's the most dangerous fight because both them styles are going to clash, like I said. And Savannah's not going to be trying to hit fog, being a big puncher and can't hit the target. These two, they're going to swap leather, and it is a genuine grudge match. They've got a dislike for each other, and both and listen, I can say this, both believe they can beat each other. Savannah's 110% confident she's got her number and she'll outbox her and stop her as well. That's what she believes. So, and I'm sure Clarissa thinks she can probably do the same to Savannah. So it makes for a great, great fight, and I'm excited to see, because I want to see who the best woman is in the world. So we're going to see.
I'm excited after hearing you there. I'm excited as well, Pete. You've got me all excited. But I do want to talk about Hughie Fury, your son. What's happening with Hughie? When's he next out? When can we see him? Because like I said, the heavyweight division right now is back. It's booming. We've got two young heavyweights on the card in Hosea Stewart and Matty Harris. Young trop coming through, and Hughie's been there, done it. He's fought for a world title. When can we see him back next out?
Hughie's definitely on again in June. Be probably early June. Announcements are going to be in the next few weeks. And he's fighting, a very top level opponent. Probably an opponent which really nobody wants. So he's in a good 50-50 fight.
That's what Hughie needs, obviously. The landscape in heavyweight boxing is changing all the time in terms of, we've just seen Usyk beat Joshua. So the landscape, the belts are getting changed over. Obviously Tyson's got that WBC belt, but for Hughie, how does he navigate, you and Hughie, how do you navigate this heavyweight landscape where you need that top 5 opponent?
I don't want to navigate fuck all, yeah. It's like a bull in a china shop. There's the opponent, smash his face in, let's get home. That's where I'm at. So he's 27, he's ready for anybody. Yeah, we're trying to get fights. I'm not going to mention the names who's turned it down, but it's just hard for him to get fights. But we know somebody that is prepared to take this fight, and full credits to him. He believes he can win. We believe Hughie is going to win and he's going to shine. But after 29 fights and been a pro since 18 years of age, and now he's 27, he's ready for anybody. And let's see. Let's have 50-50 fights. The public want to see it. It's his time now. It's either put up or shut up. So, that's what I'm all about. So let's get the fight on.
People forget that about Hughie, though. People, because he's been a pro for so long, people still forget that he's still only 27. Heavyweights don't come into their prime sometimes at 30, 31 in the later years. So people forget that Hughie's been in the professional a long time. And has he reached his prime yet, Peter?
Yeah, he's coming into his prime now. With 27, he's just beginning. He's got his foot on the ledge. But he's at his prime, I would say. From 27 onwards now, he will get a little bit better as the next couple of years go on, because you're at your ultimate prime around 29, 30 heavyweights. Yeah, and it's not just physically; it's that mental thing as well. But he's developed. He's there. He's got that spitefulness in him. He's ready for all comers. He is.
And it's obviously them world title fights at a young age has done him in good stead, even though he may have lost them, but fighting all these grown men for a world title at that young age, sometimes losses aren't losses, they're lessons. Do you feel that with Hughie?
100% for him. Look, if he can get in and swap leather with Povetkin in late rounds as well, and he's never been off his feet.
How old was he against Povetkin?
I think he was about 24, something like that, yeah. So like I said, he's been in with big punches. We went over there in Bulgaria. There's nobody can question Hughie's set of balls or his art. He's there. So he's took all comers at a young age. He's been cut, severely cut. We've seen him in all kinds of problems in fights. Yeah, and he's there. We're going to see it different. We've seen it. We're seeing a different fighter. You can imagine his confidence at the moment, his power ratio, the way he can do his rounds compared to what he used to be. And I sit down and say to him, look, you already should have been a world champion at 22. You got robbed out of it. So you've lost 2 fights. So basically, you've lost them on points. One went wrong with Pulev over there with a cut, because we thought he was going to get stopped, and he had to go out there and try and get him out of there. His game plan went out the window. Yeah. The other one against Povetkin, I had him losing down the stretch. So I gave it Povetkin by a couple of rounds. No way has he been embarrassed in any of his fights. So if he can do that, what can he do now he's ready? With the learning experience he's had. So he's got nothing to worry about. He can just go in there, let his hands go, and say, come on, let's have it. And that's what I want him to do.
Exciting times, definitely, for Hughie in this heavyweight division. But
I understand what the fans are going to say. Talk cheap. It's not going to be talking cheap, because in the next 2 weeks, he's got a formidable opponent, and nobody can say anything else about this fight. This fight is a 50-50 fight, and it's good for him, and we want to see Hughie doing good things. But I see him going through that fight and going on to be a world champion. That's what I see.
Exciting times, like I said, and it's stay tuned. 2 weeks' time, you said that announcement might happen, so stay tuned, everybody. I do want to touch on April Hunter. She's came over to you after her loss. How's she looking in the gym, and what changes have you made for April?
Every change, like I just said in the previous interview, a nut and bolt restoration job. everything she was doing was wrong. The balance, where she was sitting, a stance, all wrong for the type of style she has. So everything's gone back to zero, and we're working from the ground up. But that takes time. So we're going to see, even if I see small increments of what we've been working on, I'm happy. But she's a work in progress. Don't expect to see massive changes and this and that. It takes time. She's got to transform to what I need, and that is not overnight. So I do expect improvements. There will be improvements anyway. Her physical stature, the way she feels, her weight, everything spot on. She's in a good place. She's not sweating in the gym. She's walking around happy. So that's what we've got to have, a happy, strong fighter. But there's a lot of skills to still improve. So don't expect miracles or this, that and the other. She's a work in progress. But has she got potential? Definitely. And she's got the work ethic. So I think in time she'll get there. How long it's going to take, I don't know. But, we'll see.
I do want to get your thoughts on Joshua versus Usyk. The sports minister in the Ukraine has allowed Usyk to leave the Ukraine and hopefully get this fight with Joshua in June, I believe. I believe that's what the date's been now. What's your thoughts on the rematch? Joshua's obviously, he lost the fight against a skilled southpaw, but he's shown again that he's willing to get in there and right that wrong. So what's your thoughts on the fight, Peter?
I give him maximum credit. He's showing a fighting man's that, and that's what we want to see. He should have the rematch, for his own mental state. Can he win it? Yeah, he can win it, and I think it could be a plus for him. The difficulties Usyk's having, because I've seen him on an interview, he looks very drawn. You see he's been under a lot of stress with the war and everything else. So it's all about timing. It might be the right timing for Joshua and wrong for Usyk, because Usyk, although he's going in training camp, his mind's got to be back in his own country with his family and his homeland being destroyed, which is, it's very, very sad to see what's happening there. So it's going to have an effect where he's not going to be able to block that completely out. So that could have an effect. As far as Joshua's concerned, he needs to believe in his own skin and get in there. It's a fight at the end of the day. Stop listening to all these make-believe trainers, and sprinkle stardust over the top of his head and he's going to do this and do the other. It's up to him. Get a pair of balls, have a strong heart and get stuck into it, because if your boxing fails, have a fight. That's it. And if he goes with attitude, which I'm sure he will, and for me, look, he's fighting one of the best heavyweights in the world in Usyk. I've always rated Usyk. I knew he'd have problems in the first fight. I said as much. It's not a shock for me. But he needs maximum credit, because Joshua's gone into a fight with Usyk, and you got Usyk knowing exactly the way he's going to operate it, and Joshua's in the corner on fight day, still don't really know what game plan to use. So he doesn't know what to do there, because he's in with an opponent that he can't work out. And when it's like that, you're going to come second best. So he needs maximum credit, Joshua, for taking a fight that he doesn't really know how to win, because he's listening to everybody. He can't make his mind up. So what he needs to do is just get in there, look at it for what it is, and have a fight. And he can come out. He can do it. And he's a he's a four-time belt holder, whatever he is. He's ready. He can punch. He can box. But he's got to. Sometimes he can keep to the script too much. Sometimes it's good to be a bit of a rough diamond. Not give a fuck and say, listen, that's just what it is. Let's have a fight. Whatever he's got to take it to, and that's what he's got to do. But he's got a tall order ahead of him. Usyk's the real deal. Forget what people tell you. He needs maximum credit, Joshua, for taking him in the first place, because he could have swerved him. He could have went another route. But he wants to fight the best. He's come up short, and people's quick to criticise. How can you criticise a man, that's fought an Olympic gold medalist, a unified cruiserweight world champion, undisputed, and now heavyweight, and people saying he's a small heavyweight. What, 16 stone, 6'4.5"? What's small about Usyk? Not small. He was hitting Joshua and rocking him. The guy's a serious player. He's been hit with heavyweights. He had a 5 or 6 rounds with Joe Joyce. He had a slinging match. Joe Joyce hit him with everything under the kitchen sink. What I can see on YouTube. Have a look at it. He's not moving. He's not rocked. The man decides not to be hit because he's a great mover. But can he be hit? Can he be hit? Can he take a shot? Of course he can. Usyk's the real deal. That's me saying it, and I think I've got an idea about heavyweights. So he's the real deal, Usyk. But this thing, what's happening in Ukraine, could have a bit of a telling factor. It definitely edges Joshua a bit.
Talk about heavyweights. Jerome looks like he's getting his licence back in July. Obviously, with the 2-time drug ban. What's your thoughts on that? I know you're a pure boxing man and you probably don't like to see it, but what's your thoughts on Jerome Miller coming back in July? Well, the Nevada Athletic Commission are allowing his licence to come back. You got any thoughts on that?
I don't care. Everybody needs a second chance. Look at me. I've done 10 years in prison. It's Cat A prisoners and everything. Worst man under the sun. Yeah, I'm here today helping people and doing the best I can for them. Yeah, for no monetary gain or nothing, because I love the sport and I want to do good things. So everybody can change their life around. Give the fella a second chance. Providing he's clean. If he's not clean, he does it again. That's him. His history.
This is the third time. He's done it twice.
Right. Well, if he does it again, he's a cheating fucker, isn't he? He shouldn't be allowed in a boxing ring. But look, if he has another chance, he's clean, test clean, and all that. Let the man have another chance.
But you said that you like to help people out and for no monetary gain and all this sort of stuff. So I'm getting my coaching licence, my professional coaching licence, my second coaching licence. I just want to ask you if you've got any advice for me, Peter.
Well, what advice can I possibly give you, mate? It's difficult, isn't it? It's not easy. But if you're passionate and you love what you're doing, you can make it work. That's it. If you care about your fighters, you can make it work. If you've got agendas and you're trying to get things out of it, it won't work. You've got to be in the fighter's interest to make everything work. You've got to put your heart and soul into that fighter. And they've got to believe in you, because unless you got that bond with that fighter and they don't ultimately believe in you, you're wasting your time. So for me, I work on respect, and being kind to the fighter. It's like Savannah. I care about Savannah. I care about Savannah like my own kids nearly. At the end of the day, she's my fighter. I want the best for her. That's it. And that's it. That's the only thing I can tell you. If you're 100% for your fighter, then that's it. Because you have that bond there. You got to have it. It's not just a fighter in the gym. Hit that bag and go and have a fight. You're fighting with her, aren't you? You're involved. So if you've got that kind of mentality, you care about your fighters. You'll always get well, because good things come to good things, and positivity for trainers is what's needed. If you share that positivity, you believe in the fighter, you can talk to him. The fighter will come on. Forget how good you are on the pads. Forget how good you are, flying up and down the ring, being a workhorse. There's so much involved in boxing. Yeah, take as much advice as you can get. Yeah, from people that'll give you good advice. And surround yourself with decent people, because positivity in this boxing is the key, because there's a lot of negative shit in boxing. There's a lot of dirty politics in boxing. So just surround yourself with good people and you do well.
Peter, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. And again, thank you so much for doing this for IFL TV. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, man. I love my interviews with you, Peter. So hopefully I'll catch you very, very soon, and good luck tomorrow night with Savannah. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you very much. Thank you.